Master Duel's first ban list is here, and of course, people have got to be upset. 30% of you guys are not smash the crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can get to 105,000. So Master Duel's first Forbidden and Limited list is here. And of course, this has people upsetty spaghetti. So there are no bans on this list. Now, I just want to put a little disclaimer here. I don't think Konami, since they're offering a bonus for disenchanting or, breaking down cards that are actually limited, I don't think Konami themselves knows how they want to handle ban cards just yet in the game. So before you're like, oh, this list is terrible, that's one thing I would keep in mind at this point in time is Konami doesn't have a solid approach at what appears to be the concept of how they want to ban things and handle the compensation progress as that. So that's my opinion on that. Now, to limit it to one here, as you're going to see, was Ben 10. Yes, we're following suit with the TCG with this one. I'm not surprised about this at all. Though Ava getting out of the game sooner than later would be very much appreciated. All right. I can tell you that this is a very nice consistency hit, but it's just about it. Conk went to 1, I know a lot of people there's actually people upset about this. Everybody complained about Eldlich for how long in the game? These stupid brain dead Eldlich players is all I've heard from the community. And now that we went ahead and we saw Conk getting taken care of by Konami, now people are like, no, you shouldn't have hit Eldlich. I mean, yeah, okay, Eldlich will play more floodgates, but at least one well-timed lightning storm or something that can clear up back row, you'll have less floating. This was both a consistency hit to Eldlich and a check ability for them to pop. And trust me, now that this is gone, this is a pretty big hit. DD Dynamite got semi-limited. Now, considering the fact that this deck has been an issue to a lot of players, and a lot of players out here had to build around this effectively, because you've heard countless people going, well, you got to play 13 cards in your extra deck in order to play around this. A lot of these semi-limit hits, I think, were Konami's way of going, there's more stuff coming down the pipeline. The game is effectively a year out of date at this point in time, I almost feel like, to being fully up to date. So Konami has to look at a lot of the stuff that's coming here in the future, and these are what I would say consistency hits. The semi-limited list is a very OCG side of the game thing to do, and that's fine, because I think that when you look at consistency hits with this is Konami's approach going, we don't know how long this stuff is going to come, but we're going to make these changes to kind of slow down the pace and consistency so other things can compete until things like Sword Soul can enter into the game here. So yeah, DD Dynamite, very much a hit for everybody that's been complaining about it. So now you got to draw 2 damn things if you want any sort of progress on that. Sega's Light to 2. I know a lot of people also were looking at this going, why is Sega's Light going to 2? Well, first of all, Sega's Light is a 1 in the TCG. Let's not BS around that. You already know darn well what generic draw power can do in a situation of 37 monsters and 3 Sega's Light. We've seen it in the past. There's a reason why it was limited in our side of the game, alright? The fact that this was a cleanup, at least to check that, I also think is a very good thing. Now, people are like, why is Fusion Destiny semi-limited? You know that Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer exist, right? This pretty much confirms the fact that Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer will be in the game in the next couple of months. Alright? And you can also tell that Konami is looking at this list for longevity versus anything else. So before you're like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer and Verti Anaconda is not a very fun thing to witness. Trust me on this. Especially when a game is this far back in terms of card pool, they gotta make some decisions. Torrent Scales here is also an OCG-esque cleanup thing. I actually kind of like that they went ahead and took this hit. So remember, we have all of the cool little interactions that you guys recently are aware of with the game. The Brave package. Konami probably is also kind of taking note of this. I do. They took a big hit for all of the big decks. I think one thing with this list that's got people reading, now that I'm extending and looking at this fully, they took every top deck and they give it a semi-restriction. And it was just meant to be a slap on the wrist at that point in time. Because you can tell here, Phantom Knights is one of the biggest decks in the room. Then you got Tri-Brigade Fractal. Honestly, Fractal the 2 doesn't slow down anything, but once again, it's a consistency hit. Like I said, when you can tell that the game is this far back, ladies and gentlemen, and you're like, okay, well, Konami obviously doesn't know, based on like future card pools here, that like things like Tri-Brigade are going to be a crazy problem, 6-7 months down the line. So what's the point in temporarily hitting it, allowing people to disenchant and pick up everything that they need, and then just go ahead and recraft it later? Like, that doesn't make sense. But all right, so we got a semi-limited hit to that. Lulu, what? Now this was an interesting one. We could have went after Lulu for Virtual World, but instead we slapped this one. Okay, Konami, some of these semi-limits are okay, I guess. Cobalt Sparrow, okay, sure. Once again, this is another very, 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 very Konami thing to do. I mean, honestly, 2 Cobalt Sparrow. You could have hit Recital to 1 and cleaned up the mess that was, but I don't think they want to hurt current sales. Then you have Roxy's. Now, this and Analyzer, I think, are probably the 2 most question mark ones from a lot of players. And, I've been reading from like a lot of the joke posts, like, why'd you semi-limit Roxy's? So I think Roxy's not only was meant to be a Prank Kids hit, I think it doubled down as a hit onto the Emancipator deck that was actually playing the Roxy's in the deck for the additional rock. This is a dual-sided hit, in my personal opinion, because their logic here was, okay, cool, well, we're going to hit Prank Kids in some sort of capacity, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to clean up and do a consistency hit to Emancipator, which is fine. Like I said, you can pretty much tell that Konami looked at every top deck and said, we don't want to do anything to these too crazily, besides obviously Drytron and Eldlich, who needed some sort of hit. And then they went, all right, cool, so we're going to semi-restrict 1 card in each of these, and we're going to call it a day there. That's fine. Also, Red MD made it back off of the list, which is good. Now, for everybody that's complaining about this list, yeah, I agree, Ava probably should have been cleaned up. All right, that'd be great. I also think that there are other things that would be a little bit better to have hit as well. But in terms of this being the game's first list, the fact that the game is so out of date at this point in time, you can definitely tell that Konami wants some sort of longevity here, because they know some of these themes are not going to be good or as good in a few months. And that's why I'm going to justify the semi-limit restrictions here, because this was their take at slowing down the course of these decks. And albeit a very interesting take to do so, but for a game that doesn't have any events yet, I do feel like still at this point in time, Master Duel came out very early. I feel like this game would have been a March release. We would have been a month into release at this stage. And if Konami is already making a list for this, yeah. But I think that this is within the expectations of what the player base should have. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I don't think Konami knows how they want to compensate just yet for ban cards. Much like Hearthstone, who offers like full points back for disenchanting something that is banned for like high rarity. I don't think the Konami themselves quite know how they want to do this yet, nor do we have a release schedule from Konami on how they want to handle this, or what like we can expect in terms of future release window at this point in time. So with this being said, a lot of little slaps on the wrist. They took care of Eldlich, which I think was one of the biggest complaints, and then all of the top decks in the room got little slaps around the wrist. And then, of course, Prank Kids also probably needing Meow Meow and some other things limited in the future here. We'll have to wait and see how this handles down, but that's my 2 cents right now. So guys, please leave a comment down below what you guys think. I know for a lot of you guys that are like, oh, Master Duel is, whatever at this point. This actually kind of revitalized my interest in the game, because I kind of want to see like how things will go from here. I don't expect a lot of crazy changes from here, but when you remove Eldlich in like some sort of capacity and force a little hit on them, you're doing an interesting thing at this point in time, and there will be little ripple effects that will cause from this. So we'll have to wait and see. So guys, leave a comment about what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.